is like an artist's rendition of dead people. So like it looks like the dead person's head or whatever, but it's it's food, and so it's just like a really what's the word, macabre themed tavern of this super edgy artist that just loves death and just wants to have other people experience death. Really, he's really pretentious. Um,
I love now you're getting it.
he made. Hello, everybody! My name is Colton or WizThrift on this channel, and I am here today for episode 1 of Legend Lore. And that is going to be my new segment, episodes, whatever I'll call it, where I take another creator and we take a subject and we turn it into something better. So today's topic is taverns. But before we get into that, I would like to have my friend here introduce himself. Steven?
Well, thanks so much for letting me be a part of this. I love this so much. I love what you're doing. My name is DM Smudge, and I am a D&D influencer on Instagram, TikTok, and now YouTube with my YouTube channel that's just launched this past weekend or whenever this will be
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that all I do is really kind of help put to practice good storytelling for your games as a DM and as a player too, because players need to learn how to make good strong storytelling decisions in their game and make the best memories you can during your game. So yeah,
Mhm.
thanks again for having me, Meryl.
Thank you for coming on and taking your time out of your busy schedule. You also make
Absolutely.
really funny TikToks or reels. You've I tried for a little while making stuff like that, but I couldn't figure out how to place the audio over it or whatever. And so you're more talented than me.
No, once you get a hang of it, you're like, all right, I just got to be stupid
Yeah,
for 30 minutes recording this for the 8 seconds that's going to be on
yeah,
Instagram or TikTok,
yeah,
and but it's a good time. It's all fun.
yeah. Awesome. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So, taverns. Why do we start in taverns? What do you think?
It's such a typical D&D trope. It honestly, it's probably like most culturally relevant things. It's just for some reason one person says let's do it here, and then two, three, then everyone, then just like it just becomes this thing where everyone does it. Um, I think a better way of saying it probably is more along the lines of like the tavern is the safe zone. It's like the
Yeah.
sanctuary. It's where the revelries, but also the potential intimate conversations can take place over drinks and like game, like there can be brawls, there can be games, there can be investigations. It's actually like the most how would you say it? Like it's like the all encompassing, everything can fit
Yeah.
in a tab.
Yeah, I think it's the most diverse
Yes.
area. Like obviously there's markets and there's like inns and there's plenty of places the players can go, but I think taverns are just we start in them because like you said it's a safe haven until it isn't and a brawl or an evil guy comes in, but it's a safe place. People love to eat and drink.
Yep.
And they can usually find a room. It's and you will find strange people in these places.
Strange
So
people, strange food, strange like opportunities.
yeah,
Sometimes the tavern has an inn and you can now sleep there. Sometimes there's an underground fight club. I mean now I'm getting ahead of myself to some things that we'll talk about,
yeah.
but
Okay, okay. Don't
but you
don't.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how let me ask you, how many times have you used a tavern in your game? In general, but or also like the starting of the campaign, the typical cliche.
Man, I think I would say probably like 70 to 80% of the time. In the current main campaign I'm running, the players started in a tavern because this was these players' first introduction to D&D, and I needed a place for them all to start together.
Mhm.
And that was because it was the easiest thing to do. And these players, they're like just talking stuff, and then I had a bandit captain come in, and they had a fight, and it was great. Um, I've I do enjoy it. I don't think it's overdone. I think it's a good thing to
100%.
do. It just depends on
Yep.
how you do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And what's so cool about a tavern is like it can actually be anywhere. Like
Hmm.
it could be at the Sword Coast where,
Yeah.
I don't know, Pirates Bay is, or it can be in the middle of middle of a city or a random town, or it can be like in this creepy underground, like what if it's just like a random dungeon and you come and you find like this like weird jazz bar and you're like, now at that point your players go, why is this here?
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. You
Hmm.
just got them just like thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that, and I think taverns are kind of like a staple. I mean, think of Lord of the Rings. It's not where it started, but it's where they met Strider, Aragorn.
Yeah.
It's how their adventure really picked up. And I think it's just like I mentioned before, everybody loves to eat and drink, but also you will find the weirdest people who are causing problems, and I think it's a chance for the players to step up. And perhaps if it's a smaller place, they'll be known as either famous or infamous characters who stopped a tavern brawl or started a tavern brawl. Who knows?
Yeah. Typical. And then the guards come in and then you get thrown in jail. And that's the end of session one.
Yep, yep.
About it
Jeez.
this way too, like where do your players first go to ask for more information? The tavern.
Hmm.
Where are they going to go to sleep and or maybe get some
Yeah,
food? Tavern. Where are they going to go to maybe I wonder if there's like rumors about what's going on and maybe we can get they're going to go to the tavern.
yeah.
Like it's such a simple and safe bet in order to be able to advance your story.
Hmm. Yeah. I really like it. It is safe and it is a good way, but it's safe for lower level players because they'll be surrounded by people, and as long as you're not a really mean DM, you can usually use that to your advantage to set up those things. I like what you said about rumors, bulletin boards. There's
Mm.
so many tools that can be used.
Yep, it's an adventurers guild. It's like sanctuary
Yeah.
upstairs, and or even like, hey, we're gonna one of the NPC takes you to the tavern, and all of a sudden, like you're all bloodied. Again, we'll get to this in a minute. Like you're all bloody. Like you're supposed to be taking us to like a doctor or something, and they take you into the back room, and that's where, you're gonna get stitched up or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah. I mean, hey, let's just jump into it. What are some potential storytelling options from a tavern? I want
yeah,
to hear about this fight club you've been going on about. We're not supposed to talk about it, but just tell me about it. You know?
so check this out. Get your players to, and this is a cool opportunity to kind of make a handout, right?
Hmm.
Get one of your players to get like something up, like a rolled up piece of paper. It says, "Hey, or something like meet me at the dance." Or
Hmm.
like some sort of like dance, make it allude to like a party or whatever. And then they end up getting to the tavern somehow, whatever. And they have to go downstairs. And downstairs, the dance is a fight club and like you're partnering, like you see what I'm saying, like
Yeah, I'm feeling chills right now. That's beautiful.
and like there's an elevator and like this weird, and you're like it closes, and you go down and opens up, and like there's this ogre, and he's like, "Are you ready to dance?" Like some, I don't know.
Dang, that is so cool. Have you used that, or is that just something you just came up with?
No, why I would not. Yes, I've used something similar. It wasn't in a tavern; it was in like a cemetery.
Okay.
Um, but it's just like putting those two things together. You can make that work. You walk into the tavern, nobody's there.
Yeah.
Well, they're downstairs.
Yeah. You hear like a slight rumbling, and if they listen, they can hear music. You're like, wait, what? What's going on?
Yeah. Or the rocks are just shaking,
Yeah. Yeah.
like just movement. So that could
Yeah.
be that could be just some like an interesting, like again, fun story things where you're not like doing crazy plot twists,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
still like gotcha.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's fun. Like that's fun. That's playful,
Yeah.
and your characters get just more invested. I think
Mhm.
in something like that.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a really amazing thought. I think I've never heard of anything like that before.
Hmm.
About and just the idea of the dance, like that just fits so great. Like yeah, the players, it is a little twist, and I think everybody tries to do these huge, crazy twists, like it was your mother who died, or that's really bad, but it's been done before.
Yeah.
But I think having little twists to keep the players on their toes, yeah, I definitely agree that's a good idea. Man, you're good at this. You should make YouTube videos about this type of stuff.
You know what? It's sort of like I'm building a career on storytelling and helping people learn how
What?
to think about new ideas and thinking outside the box to
Yeah.
make their games that much more memorable.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Here's a little prompt. Okay. Close your eyes and then just randomly point to something in your room currently.
Mm, here.
Okay.
Can you see what's here? Can I look?
Yeah. Go for it. It's your DM screen, I think.
There's a guillotine. I
Oh,
made this like little
okay.
guillotine.
It's a guillotine. I'm pointing at a scrapbook. So let's start with my thing. Let's do scrapbook. What? How can we take a scrapbook and turn it into an interesting tavern idea?
Okay, so okay, I just thought of two things.
Okay.
One of them has to do with like these portraits that are on the wall of sorts, kind of showing you like maybe it's this weird old tavern purse keep that's like for some reason wants to show you the history of the tavern,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like again maybe at night the people from them kind of come to life and come down and they like haunt, maybe it's all like a haunted house type of deal type of thing, like but it's like the scrapbook of showing you
Yeah.
all the history, or maybe like yeah this tavern's been in this town for thousands of years for some weird reason and nothing changes, like maybe that's something you figure out that the tavern
Yeah.
keep is like old and just like a lich, I don't know, like
What if he's death and he takes a piece of every person? And this is where people go to rest. And it's called death and it's called Death's Door.
I'm gonna go, you have a good night.
See ya, Steve.
You don't need me, bro, that's so good.
No, dude, you started it. You started it.
We're unlocking our
No.
story potential here.
Okay. Um, and instead of paying in gold or a coin, you pay in like something that's valuable to you, and that's why it's like a scrapbook is because you're putting something in it, or you pay in memories or in time.
Memories is a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool because at that point for your players, you really have to, and depending on your players, because sometimes people don't want to do backstory, and that's totally okay,
Mm-hmm.
or your campaign's not built really around that in any sort of way. But if that really is, and like memory is a theme, like that keeps coming back up of past or even future,
Mm-hmm.
what if like, yeah, you have to give up a memory
Yeah.
in order to, but again, that payoff, like there has to be a great reward
Yeah.
on why they're there for that. And it can't just be like, they're gonna be like, all right, well then we'll go to the one next door.
Yeah. Oh.
So that dude, that's really cool. That was so good. I'm with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I mean you started it, so I just came up with the idea of pointing at random stuff. So
I love it. Freaking
okay,
love it.
so we got the Death Door Tavern. I mean that right there. You can come up with
Yeah.
so many things. Heck, it could be a cemetery, and it's like yeah, whatever. Anyway, okay, a
Mhm.
guillotine. Okay,
Guillotine. My first mind goes to like they are on death row or
okay.
something, and they are brought to the tavern, and it's their final meal, and they
I
get to
was
be picked. Like you get to choose whatever your meal is, but
yeah.
in that like in like eating the meal, maybe the barkeep or whatever like provides you a key when you're eating, and like that's the way that you can potentially escape. I don't know, maybe that was an NPC that you met before, that
I was
or
just
what.
thinking of I was just thinking of a sweet escape room where
Okay.
of that where oh man that'd be cool. Anyway, I love that though the final meal and yeah they give you a key and oh man
I don't
now
know. I'm trying to think of other things, but like
yeah
maybe there is a room that is like a torture room, and
mm-hmm.
it becomes less about like this crazy grand story, but more of like why is this here? And it looks like maybe it's been used. maybe again they're doing some sort of medical similar to maybe like the scrapbook thing where they're like people go missing here and like they're being taken and they're killed or whatever and they're like making this Frankenstein monster hashtag written guide to Ravenloft type of thing going on
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah.
And like they're stitched like I don't know, maybe something like that. I don't know. Well, come on,
Yeah.
give me some thoughts
Man,
here.
okay. My brain is still fried from the really hot day that I had, but I will try my best.
Date or day?
Day. The hot day that I had. My wife is at work and I'm not dating anybody else.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
okay.
Again, maybe you can run with that at some
Yeah,
point, you know.
yeah. I mean,
Guillotine.
it's kind of silly, but just it's just a guillotine themed tavern, and every meal um, on the menu and also that is given to you is like an artist's rendition of dead people. So like it looks like the dead person's head or whatever, but it's it's food, and so it's just like a really what's the word, macabre themed tavern of this super edgy artist that just loves death and just wants to have other people experience death. Really, he's really pretentious. um,
I love now. I love now you're getting it.
he makes you so you can eat yourself and experience the death or something.
This is the moment in the meme. I think it's in Always Sunny in Philadelphia when you're like looking at the mail room, someone's stealing your
Yeah.
mail. That's what this feels
Yeah.
like. Like now it's you. You're eating yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's good. I no, but that's so. I think what you just did there too, and helped me realize for me, like maybe if you're stuck and you're trying to figure out how to make your tavern legit, point to a couple things in your room.
Yeah.
Just point to something and force yourself to make it work.
Hmm.
You know, like that's a great simple
Yeah.
way to start to be more a little bit more imaginative and creative in light of storytelling. Love it. Ooh, I'm gonna write that. That's gonna be like a
Nice.
video.
Hey, and I think that also proves, make your NPCs at least one or two NPCs because making a lot of them's hard, but make at least put a lot of work into at least one or two NPCs
Mm-hmm.
in every location the player's going to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that way, it's memorable because I will now always remember the pretentious, edgy artist who feeds you your head at the Guillotine Tavern, um, off with their
The,
head or something.
I just thought
Uh,
of like D and T Tavern, like they give you tea as well.
uh, uh,
Help.
there's a fountain of blood, but it's really just Kool-Aid.
So you're telling me that we have Kool-Aid in our world?
I
Yes.
mean,
And the Kool-Aid man is the villain.
oh yeah. Oh man, the Kool-Aid man, he just like the pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's trying to get all of his blood back so that he can finally be put to rest. Next BBEG there.
Can you even imagine?
No, well I can. That's how we came up
I
with
can't.
it. But
That's yeah.
yeah, no, I'm just thinking of a like Victorian, Gothic Victorian era type tavern.
Mm.
Maybe on the maybe it's an old cathedral that this artist just turned into the
Mm.
like the most classic hipster spot, and everybody goes there. Anyway, that's just like. But this is just us talking for a couple minutes on one idea. We could roll with this for hours probably.
Yeah, don't and yeah, for those of you like that will watch and be present with us talking about this, like, you know what? Don't be afraid to use your tavern. Use all the taverns in the world.
Yeah.
Like, don't who cares if it's people maybe it's overdone. I don't even care. Doesn't matter. Do you think like does it even matter?
No, no, it doesn't.
I don't think it does.
But they're like, and we're talking about all these awesome like crazy taverns that were coming up that are like supernatural or just really interesting. But like, there's also something to be said about the portly barkeep who
Mm,
just wants to make money to support his family, and he just keeps a classic tavern, and he has some tavern games, or his kids are helping him wash dishes, and like there's lots of classic things that can work. I really think there's kind of this culture recently where everybody has to be like Critical Role, or everybody has to be like, you know, whatever popular thing is up, and so they're making their games so that they can stream them and be popular and be the next Matthew Mercer or whatever. But have fun, have a good time, enjoy each other. So,
Cheers, my friend.
yay! Cheers with my dragon mug.
I've got milk.
Mm, nice.
All
Okay.
right, I've got a couple other ideas, but
Okay. Hey,
I'll
go, please,
lead.
please, please.
No, okay. Okay, here's an idea that I had,
Okay.
and I've always wanted to do this.
Hmm.
And I think that it actually came out a little bit in Richton's Guide to Ravenloft.
Okay.
Is this idea of a location where
Hmm.
there is a horde of zombies attempting to come in? And I
Okay.
thought a tavern might be fun to where then you have, because it's a simple way to justify there's these other random people, these other random NPCs that
Mhm.
are there, right? And then there's always like a cellar, there's always an upstairs, maybe like an attic, like a food kitchen. Like there's like these new locations within a tavern that could be so fun in light of like boarding up the windows,
Yeah.
like a breach comes through and you have to figure out navigate your way through and like do your stuff. But I think that might be an interesting location, less about the tavern and more about the situation that's going on that just happens to be at the tavern.
I love that. I
Where
think it's good to utilize locations like that in more than just one way. That's fantastic. Everybody loves zombies.
Yeah, and like I don't know, or make it more sci-fi. Make it like
Yeah.
this Western sort of like cowboys versus aliens thing, and you're in this town, and all of a sudden all the people are turning into these creatures because of the water that they're drinking, whatever,
Yeah.
or the moon in the sun. I don't know. Like the tavern is your fort, and you have to lock it down, or else you will not survive.
Yeah.
You know.
Dang. That's awesome.
I'm literally just
Yeah.
spitballing
I
here.
mean, my next question was, what other storytelling potential things could we bring out of taverns? And so, I mean, you got there before I even was able to ask the question.
Well, let me ask you this within that. Like what specifically like is there a specific side of that are you looking for? Or like what do just in general or
Just in general, I just love picking people's brains about their thoughts. Um, because I think most of my experiences with taverns have been pretty generic, but I think just asking people, what do you think could come out of a tavern? What story potential could you make? I wrote, almost finished this one shot where this old barkeeper who used to be an adventurer, he
Mm.
hires these kids that are talking about being adventurers, and he's like, okay, kids, like, you need to get like blue collar jobs and not be adventurers because that sucks. And his tavern is just full of like his treasures and stuff that are from his time as an adventurer. So the tables are like shields, and there's like suits of armor and stuff. So he has all this cool stuff, but he's like, yeah, it's not worth it. But then like a giant monster comes to town and he has to go fight it. So he leaves the kids in charge of the tavern. And so this one shot is pretty much just the kids figuring out how to run a tavern. And they're like commoner level characters. So not even like level one, they're like level zero characters. And I think I just thought that'd be a fun one shot where it's these really weak characters that are learning how to work together, be a cook, be a barkeep, whatever.
No, that's really fun. I really like that. I think that um I mean it does come down to if everyone is fairly open-minded to trying something new.
Yeah.
I think because I like that idea. I think that's I would also say though that's a unique idea that
Yes.
people like to get them on board with that a little bit like hey, you're gonna play this type of a player, and
Hmm.
you're like, you know, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to make the most fun out of it, and because at that point, people always are like, I want to be so incredibly powerful and
Yeah.
like blah blah blah. I'm like, you can, but like, what the story can potentially become so profound and entertaining
Yeah.
because of your limitation or because of your whatever. Anyway, I think that's a
Yeah.
fun idea. I'd love to
Thank
play
you.
in that.
Thank
Like
you.
that's a really common
Well,
idea.
well, hey, maybe down the road we can play that and we can see what happens.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Um, so here's another thought. Here's
Okay.
another idea.
I love
And
it. I love
okay,
it.
great.
So good.
No, I'm totally taking this ironically a little bit from Critical Role.
Nice.
What if and I just haven't explored this before, but like what if in the tavern it's just a tavern, but it becomes a sort of weird, oh, you know what? It's actually I'm stealing this from an old Teen Titans episode.
Dude, I love Teen Titans.
This is okay. So remember the episode when they're sort of stuck in this mansion and it's sort of like this happy fun ball, like weird, like the rugs keep going, you can't run, like weird stuff is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like and it's sort of psychedelic, but like ironically it's not about the tavern again, but it's the location and yet what's inside the tavern is occurring. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I just got an amazing idea from that. What if there's a tavern, sort of like that one, where it's kind of like the Happy Fun Ball or this manor that's just psychedelic, but it's a demi-plane made by a wizard who's looking for adventurers. So inside the tavern, he puts them through all this crap, and if they can survive, he sends them on a quest.
Love it. If they're not pissed off.
You know, but he promises them gold and glory and magic items and whatnot.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. And then, well, if they were like my players, they'd be like, "Screw this guy,
yeah.
I'm going home."
Yeah.
Oh, that's too
Yeah.
funny. I love that. So let me okay, if you could trust me, this will make
Okay.
sense.
Okay. Okay.
What's your favorite type of kind of genre within D&D?
I am really into epic high fantasy.
Cool.
I love high magic, lots of magic items. Um, that's pretty much what I do. Recently, I've been building a world where it's very low fantasy and it's like low magic systems and everything, and it's gonna be super gritty and hard to survive essentially. So if I ever play in this world, I'm gonna tell my players, like, guys, be prepared to die, because it's gonna be hard. But my favorite is high epic fantasy where the players are the protagonists and they are the ones that are saving the world because they're the only ones that can.
Right. I love that. So we'll go with the first one, the really really high
Yeah,
fantasy,
yeah,
high
yeah.
magic. Go for there. Maybe and then we'll do the other one.
Okay.
Picture your tavern inside that world and what does it look like? What does it feel like? Maybe it's not anything that's special, but like still, what does it feel like? What do you envision it look like?
I envision it being at least like 10 stories tall. And
Cool.
there are, like, just like in Fantasia, the little brooms that carry the buckets. They're carrying the drinks and they're carrying the food and they're the waiters. Free labor essentially. Um, and the owner is this old retired adventurer who has like three simulacrums, and one does the accounting, one does the cooking, one is the actual barkeep, and then the tavern owner who is this really high level enchanter or wizard who has these simulacrums. He's just enjoying people. He just loves hearing stories,
Hmm.
and it's everything an adventurer could want is there, but they're only allowed to stay for a short amount of time because they gotta go save the world.
Interesting. That's so fun. Yeah, you got like I was super intrigued. I'm like, I want to go over to the fireplace. What's the fireplace do?
The
Like,
fireplace, actually, every table has a small fireplace that radiates heat. So, and it's there's no smoke, and just depending on who you are, it immediately goes to your temperature.
See, like I'm interested in the smell. I'm interested in like physically, is everything made of wood? Is there like bronze? Is it steel? Like is it like small on the outside and large on the inside, type of like a Harry Potter situation? Like you've captivated me with that. So I
Thank you.
love that.
Thank
Now
you.
go to the other one. Go to the
Okay.
dirty, like, yeah, what does it look like?
Okay, so this world is run by warlocks. The only way to get magic is outlawed unless you sell your soul to a devil or a demon or whatever.
As you
So,
would.
exactly. No good warlocks. The only way to get magic is this. And if you are like a wizard or a sorcerer or a bard or, any magic or a paladin, you'll be hunted down. So, most of the taverns are like hidden. They're literally underground.
Love it.
So you have to be invited to most of them. There are some refugees and stuff that have areas like campsites or bonfires, kind of like Dark Souls, where you will probably be safe. But to really get to a tavern that has fresh food and a place for you to sleep, you have to be invited to it or you have to know someone. And then it's still not good stuff. The bread is stale, the water is not very clean, and the
Mm,
barkeep is just doing whatever they can to keep it together. But it is safe for the most part. And
mm.
there's kind of slime everywhere. There's a lot. It seems like no matter what, the barkeep cannot just get the dust off the tables.
Oh, I just literally pictured like they wipe it off and then it
Yeah.
just settles back
Mm-hmm.
down.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's fun. That's really fun.
No.
See, like you can just there should never there should literally be no reason why. I'll put it this way because I don't want it to come across like harsh, but like yes, writer's block happens. Like
Yeah.
yes, I'm like I can't think of anything, but like if you just had someone ask you the right question and like calling up a friend that plays D&D and like chat about it a little bit, I like just the inspiration, the story just unravels itself. It's so like it's ridiculous how so beautiful it just can the story can evolve if you
Yeah.
just like chatted about it with a friend.
I mean, we came up with like 5 or 6 taverns just in the time that we've been talking, and
Literally,
and two of those things came from random things in our rooms, and then a couple others came from one you a fight club, and then me just about my worlds. So
I
like,
love
unless you're just the most lazy dungeon master who doesn't want to put in work, you're right. There's not really an excuse to not have something interesting for your players.
yeah, and if you have the players that asks the right questions, like for me, if I asked you, tell me about the fireplace, like, do I see fireplaces? Like that, then what that can then do, so players like ask questions that your DMs didn't like talk about and let them improvise those things in. And they say,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, there's nothing. But what there is like at the center is like this large 10-foot like long
Yeah.
coal like blaze of fire
Yeah.
that sort of people are heating with like meats and stuff. Like
Yeah.
then like
Oh man, I just have you seen Howl's Moving Castle?
no, I've heard of it though.
Oh man, you gotta watch it. But Howl's Moving Castle is the latest castle that has legs and it moves around. And it has these doors that if people knock on the door looking for the wizard, like the door will open to wherever that place is. So it's like at this portal. And and yeah, so that's like a really cool idea right there. But another one I came up with that I actually used in a one shot one time was this tavern is just this caravan that is carried by horses or maybe no horses,
Cool.
and it's just this not the caravan, but it's just this horse-drawn carriage that's covered, and it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, and it takes you to where you're supposed to go. So
It's like a party bus.
exactly, exactly.
And you can
And
drink and there's music.
yep, yep. And it's just a random thing, and the barkeep will be on the outside and be like, "Do you have any? What do you need? Are you guys all right?" And they'll be like, "Oh, well, we kind of need a place to rest." But like, he'll open his door and they'll go inside and there's everything they need there. And there's lots of people already there that are resting and taking a night.
I love that. It's going back to your the high fantasy and the gritty tavern. I literally thought about the gritty tavern being something that's like, like sort of like, yeah, like gross waste, not wastelandish, but just like anybody can spend a silver coin in your end. But what if it was like a really high maintenance, like 10 gold per night,
Yeah.
and like there's a spa, and they're like, I'm sorry, you can't come in here unless you bathe. Like, 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 like,
Yeah.
what if it's super uppity? You could
Yeah.
you could do something like that. So like,
Mhm.
again, I'm just spitballing
No,
thoughts.
that was actually my second thought. When I was describing to you, I was also like, "Oh man, it could be this way." So you're in the right mindset because yeah, I love the idea of it's this dark and gritty, literally dark and gritty world, full of just bad and who knows why the world is the way it is now. That's part of the mystery of this future campaign I want to run. But like yeah, I love the idea of just the owner is just a super high maintenance man who just like yeah, like you said, please bathe before you enter. Like
Yeah. Or they're like not like a human thing, and they're like some sort of like celestial creature,
oh man.
like guy or girl thing. It's just like it's an it thing. And they're just like please, you cannot come in. Like there's like,
It's
I don't.
it's a vegetarian vampire and his goal is just to have the give the best service. He's essentially immortal and just giving the best service and yeah, he's super nerdy. So, super dorky vampire. Yeah.
I love that.
Just
I love that.
man. Oh man, when
So
you just said celestial. I was just thinking, man, like the a heavenly inn. Like it's just it's a spa as well, like you just said, and they provide you with new clothing to your exact measurements, and they clean you up, and oh man,
mm, yeah, and then you have to fight these demons that are coming in these portals.
yeah.
The cloud. Now you're on a cloud fighting demons. When have you done that?
Never,
Never done that.
never done that.
Guess we're gonna do that.
I mean, I did actually. My players, they're recently on the ocean, which a ship tavern. That was pretty cool. And one of the random encounters that they could have encountered was a storm giant fighting. Oh man, what was it? Anyways, a storm giant cloud coming in, and it was fighting something, and the players could have joined in. Anyway, that was just an idea, but I
Your campaigns are like weird.
oh man, okay. So on the way to this one place, they encountered a dragon turtle, and they were like, and then the session ended. They all knew it was gonna end, but they were just like, ah man. And this dragon turtle comes up and like tries to get on the ship, and they're all attacking it, but they notice that it has like scars and like it already has wounds and stuff. It's like it's already hurt, and the only person that could speak dragon heard it say pain, and then they kind of put together like, wait a second, stop, and they start healing it. It turns out this dragon turtle was just like injured and mutilated and just like hurt and was just looking for someone to help it. And now they have a dragon turtle friend. And I love subverting expectations like that. So,
I love it.
yeah.
Can we name the turtle Stewart?
If you want, yeah. He's not very
Oh,
little though.
dang it! You should freaking do my joke. Damn.
His name is Lazo Kurik. It means
Ooh,
great
Lazo,
show in my language.
Lazo, great show.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good. I love. That's freaking good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
But
man. I love
but
your storytelling mind. It's
thanks,
fun.
man. I appreciate it. Is so we've been talking for a while. Is there anything else about taverns that you would like to bring up or you'd like to talk about?
You know what? No, just I guess I just in general would say like I think a funny name for a tavern's always fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like the Sleepy Nut Inn. Like I don't know, like I don't
Yeah.
know, just like my first ever D&D session as a DM. I
Okay.
ran. Players met in a tavern, and it was called the Gragas Gullet Tavern and Inn.
Ew.
Mrs. Gragas was the tavern owner and innkeep, and it was we called it the Gragas Gullet Tavern and Inn, and it was just it was the most basic tavern, but it's literally like I literally can visualize it right now,
Mhm.
and it's just dear to my heart because it had nothing to do with the tavern itself, but just the moment that was created within my players and myself
Yeah.
in the story that made the like the Gragas Gullet with all the ball bearings that are behind the stationery, whatever, and then all of the weird meat that was back in the kitchen that you could smell, and the upstairs in the tiny rooms that actually had these really small beds that nobody could sleep on because this is Gragas is a halfling, like
Oh man, that's
those
awesome.
little things like
Yeah.
that for me to remember and ponder about to this day, like that's the win. So
That's awesome. No, that's it's moments like that why we play. It's moments like that why we, laugh and cry. And I think in this last session, my players and I just had a fun time. We laughed a lot.
it's great.
Um, and I told him, I was like, guys, I was kind of feeling burnt out for a little bit, but like it's moments like these that keep me going. And now it's like, yeah, I want to keep playing. I don't want to take a break for a while. I want to keep the momentum going because I love this, and I love that we can just gush and talk about taverns for however long.
Ooh, I love that gush on it. I love
Yeah.
that. Yes, I will do this anytime on any subject with you, my friend.
I, I'm gonna have a lot. You might be my main guest. So
Boom, let's go.
yes, gotta support each other, build each other up.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Well, great.
sweet. Well, again, here, shout out all your stuff. Like, do it.
Yes. And again, you can find me mainly on Instagram and YouTube. I do TikTok, but a lot of all my gameplay, my stories, and just sort of like my just kind of to know about me, and also all my comedic D&D stuff is on Instagram at DM_Smudge. And then on YouTube, DM Smudge, again, helping put to practice good storytelling for your D&D games. It's a lot of
Yes.
fun. Can't wait to for you to jump in and be part of that.
Yes. And I am WizThrift. All of our links and everything will be in the bottom. Check out the Dungeon Forge. We make awesome
Agreed.
D&D content and we sell a lot of cool stuff. Check out the site. We're coming out with a Kickstarter in the coming future. Probably when this goes up, it might be announced. So we'll see because this will go up in a couple weeks. So, but yeah, check out everything. This has been Smudge and Wiz. I was thinking of that all day. I don't know, but yeah.
Dude, we're like like yeah, smudge and whiz. We're like it's like a cheese. I don't know. Like I
Yeah.
just thought of
Oh
like
my gosh, dude, let's start a cheese company.
it will sell it in the tavern. Okay, great.
Exactly. Okay, sweet. Guys, thanks again. And that's a wrap. Peace.